Hi, my name is Julianne, and I'm a parishioner at Our Lady of Victory, Our Lady of the Snow. And today I'm going to read to you a story from the Easter story. The soldiers first took Jesus to the high priest to question him. They wanted to find something to charge him with so that they could put him to death. The best that they could do was to get some witnesses to say some untrue things about him, but their stories did not match. Next, they took Jesus to the Roman governor Pilate. They did this because they did not have the authority to put anyone to death. They wanted Pilate to do this. But Pilate was confused. The more he talked with Jesus, the more he realized that Jesus had not done anything that deserved putting him to death. He wanted to free Jesus and even offered to release either him or another man who was a murderer. The crowd shouted out that they wanted the murderer set free and not Jesus. Pilate then had Jesus beaten. The soldiers whipped him and put a crown of thorns on his head. Pilate was hoping that when the crowd saw how bad he looked, they would feel sorry for him and let him be set free. When he brought Jesus out, he said, "Behold the man!" But the crowd only shouted all the louder that he had to be put to death. So Pilate ordered that he must die upon the cross. So they set out to take Jesus, who was carrying his cross, to the place where he was to die. Along the way, he met his mother. There was so much pain in her eyes, for she saw and felt the pain of her beloved son. He also met a group of women from Jerusalem who were crying. He told them not to cry for him, but for themselves and for their children. Jesus said this because he knew that the people of Jerusalem would suffer much in the next years. Along the way, the soldiers forced a man named Simon, who was passing by, to help Jesus carry the cross to the location where he would die. When they reached the place where Jesus was to die, the soldiers nailed him to the cross. Then they took his clothes and divided them among themselves. This happened around noon on Friday. For the next 3 hours, Jesus hung upon the cross. Even then, though, he was not thinking about himself. Jesus was worried about everyone else. He asked God the Father to forgive the people who had nailed him to the cross. Jesus spoke with one of the thieves who was on a cross alongside of him. The thief expressed his belief in Jesus, and he promised him that he would be in heaven that very day. Then, at 3 in the afternoon, Jesus gave up his spirit and he died. They buried him in a tomb that was not too far away. On Sunday morning, some of the women who had followed Jesus decided to go out to the tomb to anoint his body. There had been no time to do this on Friday. Along the way, they were wondering who would help them roll back the big stone that closed off the tomb. But when they got there, they found that the stone had already been rolled back. There was an angel in the tomb who announced that God had raised Jesus from the dead. Even though they were afraid because of the angel's news, they ran to tell the disciples all that they had seen and heard. At first, the disciples wondered if what they were saying could be true, but then Jesus appeared to them. They saw that he was alive again, and they were filled with joy. They cried out songs of praise, saying especially, "Alleluia," a word that means, "May the Lord be praised." Thank you.